Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Andrew G, and thank you so much for tuning into this episode. If you guys are new to this channel, I encourage you to like and share and subscribe to The Public Affair. As of the recording of this episode, we are celebrating 5 years of The Public Affair. Now, I wasn't going to put out an episode this week. I was going to take a break because one thing that I've learned in my journey doing the podcasting for 5 years is that it's okay to take a break, right? I was super hell-bent on consistency for a very, very long time, which I still kind of am, right? But I also have learned to put myself in check when need be. And this was just one of those times. I just celebrated a birthday as well. I just turned 34, and that happens to coincide with the anniversary of The Public Affair. So, of course, before we continue with this episode, I want to thank you all so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, watching every single week. You guys are truly the grow. I truly, truly, truly appreciate it. So what I wanted to do was kind of just create a behind the scenes, just real quickie interview, if you call it, just like, talk about a little bit of key points in my career, some questions that people have had, some things that I just openly wanted to share and don't feel like I ever really had the opportunity to do it because nobody really asked, but I really had nothing else to do, right? So I was like, well, let's just kind of put this cutesy wootsy behind the scenes at home made episode together, just a little buffer between this and the next episode. And again, just to celebrate 5 years of The Public Affair, which I have to thank all of you guys so much for just riding with me and believing on this show. I have a lot of supporters. I have a lot of followers. I have a lot of people that sponsor The Public Affair. I have a lot of people behind the scenes tell me how much each episode has meant to them and this, that, and the third. And I just can't express my gratitude enough. I can sit here for an hour and tell you guys thank you, and that still would not be enough. So I just want to, from the bottom of my heart, just let you guys know how much I truly, truly, truly appreciate all your support. So if you guys see me looking down every so often, it's because I have the trusty dusty iPad that has been on almost every single episode of The Public Affair. And I'm just kind of looking down so I don't forget what I'm going to talk about here, because one thing about me, and I'll keep it a buck with you guys, the reason why you see that iPad on every single episode is because like a safety net for me. It's a safety cushion for me. I never script out the show. I never write out, okay, at this time, so-and-so is going to walk in. And then at this time, I'm going to throw this question at them. No, I always just write down little notes just to kind of like, again, as a safety net, just to kind of fall back on just in case we get off topic, or if for some reason the guest or myself just kind of, becomes dead air in a sense is what we call it. So one of the things that I really wanted to talk about in the validity of my show is consistency. Consistency was a huge, huge, huge factor for me when starting The Public Affair. I knew that if I was going to put out an episode every single Monday, it had to be every single Monday, especially in the beginning stages of my career. Now, prior to this, you guys all knew that I had a radio career that a lot of you guys followed. I was on a nighttime show at a station that no longer exists, but shout out to Power 108. And that's kind of where I got my career beginnings in terms of being behind a microphone and stuff like that. And so, as I shared before on prior episodes of The Public Affair, I always wanted to know what the next step in my career was going to be. And so I knew that when I was going to do this, I didn't want to just put out like 2 episodes a month and then you guys would forget about it, and then, try to cram 2 more episodes in the next month. And hey, you remember me? I didn't want to do that. What I did do was commit 5 people to the show. And those 5 people were Timo, Angelo Fajardo, Roman Novian, Adrian Rodriguez, and Joey Seiss. Oh my goodness, there was somebody else. Hold on, I'm skipping. Oh, and Cutis from the radio station. And so actually I named 6 people. The reason why was Angelo Fajardo was actually supposed to be on episode 2 of The Public Affair. And during the pre-production and everything like that, he had to cancel at the last minute. I mean, it was during COVID, so times were a little bit scarier back then. I call up Roman, the realtor, and I said, Roman, what are you doing tomorrow? Please come on my podcast. It's this thing that I'm starting, and I would really be, grateful if you were a part of it. I was going to invite you anyway, right? But can you come on? And he just said yes, and then we did that. So he was episode 2. But I had some people commit to it. I knew I had a month of content in the can, and we were just going to see what that did. And then if there was no traction, and if a lot of people, weren't really feeling the show, then we were just going to stop, and we were just going to dead it. And then I would just continue on with my radio career. Thank God, because God makes no mistakes. He said otherwise, and you guys really, really connected with the show. And I was so grateful for that. Just kind of something to bounce off of that as well. I noticed excuse me, in the beginning stages of the career, or, during the production of the show. And I talk about this so often with people behind the scenes. Numbers and analytics can get the best of you 100%. And so one thing that I've learned, because people will be quick to be like, oh, did you see that this episode didn't do as much as the last episode? And, oh, but this episode blew up. And how do you feel about that? One thing that I learned very, very early in this, and what we do as podcasters, interviewers, content creators, whatever you want to call it, is that, yeah, the numbers can really, really get to you. you, but you really have to find a passion in what you do and let that be the forefront of everything. And one thing that I told somebody else too, because they were a little bit discouraged and I'm going to keep their identity concealed. One of the things that I told them was because I think they put out a TikTok or something and it only got like 100 views and they were very discouraged about that or whatever. And I told them, just imagine being in a room, right? Like a room no bigger than my dining room for that instance, and 100 people are in there to see what you're doing. I feel like we live in an age right now, and I saw a post on this on social media, that we have really, really corroded what it means, like what views mean, and the aspect of, we think 100 views is so little, but when you think about that, if you get 100 people to go, to a small theater, if you get 100 people to walk into a room or come to an organization or whatever, you know what I mean, that's a lot of people. Even 50 people is a lot of people, you know what I mean? So I just, my advice to people who are in content creating, podcasting, YouTubing, whatever, I really wouldn't get too discouraged with the numbers. I understand why it can be discouraging because, your peers maybe be doing 1,000, 10,000, a million, right? But, and we all want to get to that, don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, you have to really think about it. Those small numbers can mean a lot too. They may not be physically there, but that means 100 people clicked on your content to watch it. That to me is a lot of people. I don't know. maybe I got it messed up. Maybe I got it twisted. But I just feel like we really need to negate that stereotype where 100 is not a lot, 80 is not a lot. You have to really put it into a different perspective and not what the media wants you to put it in. So that's just my thing. So consistency was super, super important to me. I think up until last year is when I finally started taking little breaks here and there, because I felt like it was okay. You know what I mean? Like I felt like, okay, the show's been going on long enough. Everybody knows what's tea. And I'm grateful to be able to do those things. So everybody needs a reset every once in a while. Nothing wrong with that. So another thing that people ask me all the time is, what is my top 5 favorite episodes of The Public Affair? Now, as you guys know, I have almost 250 episodes at least recorded of The Public Affair as of the recording of this video. And it's really, really hard to pick because I appreciate any and everybody who has taken the time to come on The Public Affair. Now, there's some people who have been on The Public Affair and their episodes are no longer viewable. We've had our own falling outs. There's only one person who I don't understand why we had a falling out, but that's neither here nor there. But just a little tea for you guys. Hello. But one thing I did go through my episodes, and I kind of just went through. I have a list of episodes with the links that I've been saving for the last 5 years, and I kind of went through that. And whichever ones really stuck out to me, like at first, I was like, oh, okay, I'll talk about these. So this is in no particular order, and I'll just kind of give you guys a little bit of reason why each episode, means as much to me. So the first episode that I picked was episode 148 with my boy Hasiel Trevino. One of the reasons why that episode stuck out to me a lot was because Hasiel is like you and me, right? Very young, very good-looking guy, very, very friendly, very easy to talk to, and he definitely devotes a lot of his life to Christ. He is very much involved with his church. Shout out to Oasis Church in Round Rock because they welcomed me with open arms. They were so kind. I almost got shady there. But, one of the reasons why I enjoyed that episode so much was because I do feel like a lot of times when you invite people on camera, they almost feel as if they need to shroud their true personality. I almost feel like they have to like try and be like mask who they really are and try to pull the wool over our eyes. That does exist. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there's definitely episodes that I've recorded. I'm like, okay, there's people who I've talked to prior to coming onto the show, like, don't even cap, like, stop. But Hazel or Hasiel, he was so genuine to me. And, as much as it was more of like a Christian-based episode, for lack of a better phrase, more kind of towards the faith-based perspective, if you will. He was very just like, but Andrew, you be you. If you want to bring wine, I'll drink a bottle of wine with you. It's nothing. I don't want you to conceal who you are. I just want you to be 100% authentically you because that's who I'm going to be. And that just made me feel so good. It made me feel so comfortable in that setting because it also made me feel like I didn't have to like censor the show because he knew what the show was prior to coming on. And he shared like even some people or persons that had reservations of him coming onto The Public Affair, but he still did it anyway. And it made me know that he trusted me a lot to talk about the things that we talked to. And I actually really like watching that one when I'm down in the dumps. So big shout out to Hazel Trevino, episode 148. Go check that out. Another one that kind of like spoke to me, my girl, shout out to my girl Ana Limones Valenzuela. She was on episode 198. She's actually somebody who I advertise with as well. So shout out to HB Party Backdrops and Decor. One of the reasons why I really, really like that episode of The Public Affair was, there's not a lot of times where people bring like a group of people to watch them record on the show. And with her, her best friend is a good friend of mine, Leslie Delgado, who is the wife of my best friend, Mauro Maldonado. And so they got to be there. Her husband got to be there. My boy DJ Omar was there because that's her brother. And the setting of that show, it just made it more fun. We had drinks in the background. We were taking shots. She was super comfortable. She was talking about her life growing up with my girl Leslie and how long their friendship spanned. And, I just really, really appreciated that. And because the setting wasn't strangers, it was people who I know and love and are a part of my life. So every time I see the photos that we took and stuff like that, it really just kind of takes me back to that place. And that episode is just so much fun. And Anna, let me tell you guys something. If y'all need a party decoration person, hit up my girl Anna Limones with HB Party Backdrops and Decor. You can follow on social media HB Party Backdrops and Decor because she's gonna do the damn thing. She is fantastic. She's lovely, and I just have so much respect for her and her husband and her family. So big shout out to them. Another episode that reached out to me. This is my third one that I'm mentioning. Yeah. My boy Kutis. I have to give a shout out to my boy Kutis. He was on episode 3. So one of the very, very early production episodes. And when he was on the show, I was still on the radio and he worked at our sister station, La Ley, 104.1, which is still existent. It's not going anywhere. Biggest Latin station in, the city. Kudos to him. So, when he came on, he was still on there and he was doing other things like with Listo Papisto and oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of you guys are gonna kill me, but the name of the micheladas that they were selling. Oh God, please don't get mad at me for forgetting. I'm sorry, I should have wrote that down. But Kutis, one thing about Kutis, I do consider him one of my radio mentors, one of the mentors in my career to do with what I do. Him and of course Chrissy with Power 108, who's now on the Bull, 107.9 the Bull. And he really always encouraged me to be myself. I can remember one time beforehand, he came on the air with me live, and I remember like kind of almost rehearsing it, and he was like, don't do all that. You be you, Andrew. You do you, and we're just gonna do the damn thing. And that's what we did. And Kutis has always made me feel very, very comfortable. I definitely think episode 3 with Kutis was the breakout episode. I definitely feel like that was the one that people were like, oh, I mess with this show. Okay, this is what they do on this show. Bet. Like, there's no filter on this show because you know him. He's wild, crazy, and free. And so I've always had a lot of respect for him. He's always been very championing right of my show and cheering me on, and so I've always had like a lot of respect for Kutis, and I'm so proud of him, and we get to talk every so often. And I did have him on again on a later episode of the show, and I hope to have him on again because he's good people. I have a lot of respect for him, especially those veterans that come in the business that I'm in and just will embrace you, because I've met a lot of people that won't do that. But, definitely who I aspire to be as well. I definitely hope that I can do the same thing going forward in my career. So big shout out to Kutis, episode 3. Okay, another one. My boys Sid, Isidro Rodriguez, and Marcus Guerrero with Elite Barbershop. They were on episode 10. Sid's Barbershop, Elite Barbershop, is also one of my advertisers that I advertise for. I didn't do my hair today, Sid. Don't get mad at me. This is very, loosey-goosey episode, okay? But Sid and Marcus are just good people, and Elite Barbershop has truly done its damn thing and come so far. I've seen that guy go from like the school, like literally barber school, to another barbershop, to opening his own barbershop. And we brought beer on that show. And again, this was an early production, so this was only episode 10. We had such a good conversation about both their careers, both their past. Marcus, our goal, low key, was to make Marcus uncomfortable because he's cutesy wootsy, but I love his wife too. So I wasn't gonna like try to sleep with him on the show. we to this day, when I go get my haircut, we still mess with him. And Elite Barbershop has grown to have numerous fantastic barbers in that barbershop, and we all poke fun at Marcus every time I go get my haircut. So that is always such a fun episode to watch back. And I really, I've been planning with him to have like an episode featuring all the barbers in the barbershop, but I want to do it right, so it's going to take time. I don't like to rush into things, and my boy Sid has always been a huge supporter of me, so I'm really, really grateful to him. And you guys got to check that one out too. That was so much fun. And the last episode I'm going to mention, and I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I did record an episode with my very best friend, Coach Mauro Maldonado, who is he is the head coach of the Soco soccer teams. He is the coach of CTX Atletico Boys, excuse me. very phenomenal coach, very, very good friend. We did an episode 180, that we ultimately decided not to put out. And one thing really why I wanted to mention it was, number one, it's one of my favorite episodes and I still have it. And number two, it made me realize how sensitive everybody's story is. And it has to be on their timing. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But the things that he did share on the show, I commended him, applauded him. And at the end of the day, I have to give my props to what he does with the kids in the community, specifically the inner city kids in this community, because he's almost like a father figure to them. He's so fantastic at what he does. Watching him in that mode and watching youngins respect him is just fantastic. And that's why I think I resonated with that show a lot more. Fun fact, we do have a short on my YouTube channel, where his son came on and told everybody to sponsor the public affairs. So we were allowed to share that, and I was happy that we kept that. And then his wife was there too, so it made it all good. And then of course we ate afterwards, which shout out to Texas Roadhouse, hello. But yeah, that's definitely one of my like top tier favorite episodes. And I don't know if we're ever going to show that one. More than likely not, but I would love to have him on the show again to talk about what he's doing with the coaching, and him and his new peers in coaching, all his peers in coaching. Shout out to Soko Soccer Academies, shout out to CTS Atletico Boys, all of them. I have so much respect for those organizations and what they do for the children. So big shout out to them. Okay. Now, another thing that people have always asked me, oh, by the way, that was my top 5 favorite episodes. And but if I didn't name your episode, that doesn't mean I hated it. It doesn't. It's just those episodes stick out to me the most. Okay. But if I could sit here and talk about how every 250 episodes mean to me, we'll be here all day. Okay. But I'm so grateful to everybody who has come on the show, trusted me to be on the show, shared their stories on the show. Fantastic people. I've had some great stories on the show. So everybody always asks me, Andrew, but who is your dream interview? Like, who do you want to interview the most? Y'all know it's T. Frankie J, where are you at? Frankie J, Latin R&B singer Frankie J, who I grew up to listening. A couple years ago, I actually had the honor, immeasurable pleasure of meeting him in person, shaking his hand, having a conversation with him. And it was definitely one of the most highlights of my life. He knew what the show was, which I could have died right there. I could have died right there. I could have went to heaven or hell and been like, it's okay, because Frankie J knows what the public affair is, you know? And I made a joke with him too, because a lot of people think it's gay stuff, and it's really not no gay stuff for Frankie J. He is my all-time favorite vocalist, singer. I have every album. I have a signed album, which I should have brought on the show. He is definitely my dream interview, and hopefully one day we'll make that happen. He did agree to do it, but we got to make the circumstances right. He does live out of town. We got to coordinate all that. And so I would absolutely love to interview Frankie J. But, you know, there's some people in town who I've also wanted to have on the show who've yet to come on the show. And I'm going to call them out right now. I don't care. Shout out to Ulysses the Barber, Next Generation Barbershop. I have so much respect for that guy. So much respect for that guy. And I actually had his wife Ace on the show, and I told her, okay, Ace, now tell Ulysses it wasn't that bad. But no, I think, yeah, they just opened up a barber school. He's always been very kind every time we've been in passing. And so I just think that he'd have a phenomenal story of success, and he would make it a lot of fun. So I always wanted to have Ulysses the Barber on the show. While I'm doing that, Envy Beauty Bar, Erica Herrera, where you at, girl? Where are you at? Hello. Another very kind person. Her and her whole team, who I have so much respect for, would go to the back to school bashes when Sid and David Santabanez were throwing them and I was hosting them. They would go out there and help cut the kids' hair for free. Always had so much respect for her. She's always been very kind to me, her and her husband. The whole team has been very kind to me. I got my makeup there one time. Shout out to Aaron Alonso, who was on the show. So Erica Herrera, we've talked about it. I don't know if it's going to happen anytime soon, but when she's ready, the invite is open. Another person I'm going to mention, Jerry Dancer. He is a basketball coach at Rappaport Academy. Jerry Dancer, another fantastic individual who I've had many conversations with on the phone, through social media, and I have so much respect for him. I think he you know what I like about him too? Because he's in education and he works with the children, but he's also very like outspoken. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't sugarcoat nothing. And when I watch his like social media lives and stuff like that, I'm like, God, Jerry, we would have the best conversation. So hopefully, Jerry, if you're watching this, hurry up and come on the show. Okay, the invite is open. Just a few more to name. My boy Brandon Moreno, who's actually, as of the recording of this episode, not only is the 5th anniversary of the public affair, but it's also his birthday. So that should be enough. Okay, Brandon, come on the show already. He's a bartender at Sam's Bar. I've had the owner at Sam's Bar on the show, and Brandon always hooks me up with the mimosas. He does fantastic with the bartending. He's a very much a people person, very respectable. I've always admired him. He's always been very kind with me, and he knows he's invited to the show too. And just to see, no, I'm not gonna say the secret. It's not gay. It's not gay. But I'm not gonna say the secret because then that's gonna be expectation for everybody. I'm not doing all that. But Brandon, you know what's up. Hurry up and come on my podcast. We're all tired of waiting, okay? Um, Another person who I would love to have on the show. She is somebody who I also run advertising for, Anika Armstrong with Armstrong's Bayou Cafe. Oh my goodness. Every time I go talk to her, like on a personal level, not like business, we have some of the best conversations just about things that are going on in the city, leadership. We got tea to spill. She is such a people person. She is so easy to talk to. She's fantastic to work with. I love the fact that she's been supporting the public affair for so long. She actually put me onto real Cajun food because I was not into Cajun cuisine, Creole cuisine until I tried Armstrong's Bayou Cafe. And she is just a fantastic person all around. I think that if she came on, we would make some good shit. I'm not gonna lie. I think that she and I would make some real good shit. So Anika, hurry up, girl. And a couple people I would like to come back on. Huge shout out to my boy David Santabanez. He is the number one realtor here in town with David with Alinea. He was on episode 20. And that's still kind of like when I was like fresh, right? And so that was our first time meeting. And since then, we have grown a fantastic friendship. We have grown a fantastic business relationship because I run advertising for him as well. And he has come so far in his career. I actually saw an old YouTube video of him from like 10 years ago. And I said, David, you have completely 180, bro. Like he is so confident in what he does. He's so fantastic at what he does. And I just think that if he came back on these days, it would be so much more fun. Like, yeah, I would know how to approach it more because we're so much more comfortable with each other. So David Santabanez, hurry up and come back on the show. And then, of course, I already mentioned my boy Sid Rodriguez at Elite Barbershop. That barbershop episode is going to be coming very, very soon, you guys. So stay tuned. I am teasing that absolutely because that is on my bucket list of episodes to record. So Sid, one day, we got this, bro. All right. And just to kind of top off the episode, because like I said, I just wanted to keep it short and sweet for you guys. What's next for me? You guys, I am in love and married to what I do. The public affair, there's God and then there's the public affair for me, right? And this has truly become my life. This has been validation that if I put my mind to something, I can absolutely achieve it. And I hope that says the same for people who are doubting their dreams as well. I hope that you guys know that whatever you want to do in life, as long as you're hardworking, consistent, and easy to work with and nice to people, you can actually achieve that. There were so many people that doubted the public affair. There were so many people that said I couldn't even be on the radio, which it's still up for debate on whether or not I got fired from there, right? It's still up for debate. But anyway, I feel so vindicated in having this show. I feel so happy and blessed by God to be able to be doing this because all I ever really wanted was my own talk show. I've been very inspired by the Maury Poviches, the Wendy Williams, the Breakfast Club with Angela Yee, Charlemagne the God, and DJ Envy. I have always been very, very inspired by those people. And the fact that I get to do this and the city like latches onto it so much means the world to me. And I really don't relate to a lot of the people that feel like their city doesn't support them, specifically Waco. I really feel like the Waco does F with me heavy. And part of the reason why I think that, and y'all can get offended for this if you want, is because I'm authentic. The same person that you get on camera is the same person you be seeing at brunch or at the bar or at Walmart or HEB. I've never changed it up on camera. I never acted like I wasn't who I was. I'm me. I do what I do. I've made mistakes in my past. I definitely have skeletons in my closet. I've kept some of them in there, let some of them out. I'm not perfect just because people think that I'm in like this high ranking status, which I don't see myself at all. I'm still making mistakes like everybody else. Period, point blank. I mean, that just comes with being a human, you know. And shout out to everybody. I get a lot of people that say, Andrew, you know, you don't understand, like you're the best in town. I still feel very green, you guys. Honestly, I still feel very, very fresh. I still feel like there's a lot for me to learn. I did some interviews with Scene and Love Studios. Shout out to my boy Silas Nasita. When I watched his interview style, when I did his a former homophobe interviews a gay man, go check that out. Link below. I saw his interview style, and it really put me in check as the interviewee. And so I was like, there's a lot for me to learn. I still don't have all the answers, but at the end of the day, I'm super grateful for being able to do it, what I do. I am so grateful to all of you guys. I love and appreciate every single person that has ever supported the public affair, shared the public affair, been on the public affair. And I'm just going to give a shout out real quick to my sponsors, because why would I not do that? I have David Santabanez with a linear real estate, best realtor in town. Armstrong's Bayou Cafe with my girl Anika Armstrong, best Cajun food in town. Blue Star RV Services with my boy Manny Guerrero, best mobile RV technician business in town. Of course, Jesse and Tanya Sotomayor with Lucas Pizzeria, who I absolutely love their brunch. I love their pizza. Big shout out to my boy Jeff, the Texas car plug at University Mastakia, Jeff Davis, one of the best car dealers you can work with. Very honest, very reputable, very kind to work with. Banda's Hauling Service with Julian and Ana Banda. They are the best hauling business in town. Tow your car, rent out dump trailers. They're the best. Chefito's Kitchen, Al Gutierrez, Adriana Gutierrez. Yo soy boricua, yo soy puertorriqueño. Me gusta arroz con gandules, pernil. Me gusta totones, mofongo, and they have all that for me. So make sure you guys go check that out. Of course, Elite Barbershop, as I've mentioned on the show. Sid Rodriguez, best barbershop in town, family friendly. Osio Penguin Benitez. He's an RV dealer, and you guys got to go check out Penguin. Penguin's cool RV deals. Of course, the Soko Soccer Academy, Dominic Gutierrez, Ariana Gutierrez, my boy Coach Mauro Maldonado, y'all are truly the GOAT. Pollo Boxinario, my boy Jeffrey Monreal, who's been on the show twice, and he's the reason why I got that perfect tint in my car. He's the reason why I got that bass in my car. He's the reason why I got the starlights in my car. Of course, I mentioned her before, Hummingbird Party Backshops in the corner, my girl Ana Limones. Make sure you guys hit her up for all the best party decorations in town. And of course, to JC Painting and Drywall LLC with my boy Julio Arriaga, one of the most reputable, honest remodelers in town, paint jobs, and more. Those are just the current sponsors of the public affair, and there have been so many other local businesses and entrepreneurs that have done so in the past. Super grateful to everybody that has ever done so. I've got more content on the way. Thank you guys if you tuned in. If you like this episode, please stand by for more. I've got more interviews on the way. I've got more people I'm reaching out to, and I hope to do more interviews like this, because this was kind of fun, actually. You know what? If there's something that you guys want me to talk about that's like in between episodes, maybe we can start doing this, right? Let me know in the comments, or just message me, DM me. But if you're a guy and you DM me past 10 p.m., I'm going to think you're sliding in my DMs. And I'll always keep it between us.